Hey guys, Christina here, and today I have a flip through and review for you of Guest Hollow's Conceptual Physics. This is a high school science course. If you're not familiar with Guest Hollow, they're a US-based curriculum company. They consider themselves to be like a mom and pop curriculum company. They homeschooled their children, and that's how this kind of company came to being. They only sell their products in PDF form, so you need to print everything yourself. I will turn the camera around and give you a look at all the different components of it. Then I'm going to come back here and share both my thoughts as well as my son in grade 12, what he thought of it because he recently completed this course. Here's everything that you're going to get in like the downloaded version. Now just keep in mind that this is what I printed on my EcoTank printer at home. There's kind of two different parts I have it broken up with. So let's look at this first. This is what I call like the teacher book or the marking book. So it starts off just talking a bit about the course. It has different information like your account and help section. There's also Facebook groups that you can join, which they have listed here. Curriculum checklist, credits and subjects. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Just kind of tells you everything that you need to know, links, how it works, and there you go. So there is no actual workbook with this curriculum. You're going to be using a whole bunch of other books, which I will show you. So that ends the information section. So then here, this is what is really unique about Guest Hollow is they have this curriculum, but it's a bit of a pick and choose what you want to do. So these are the books and resource lists. And what they do is they rank them from number 1, which are books that are like included in the workbook, which I'll show you, to I believe number 4 is the last one that they do. And they have this handy little thing here so you can go through, you can see if you're going to buy, borrow, ebook, audiobook. So you can see that I've gone through and marked which books we're going to use, which ones I could get from the library, which ones I could get purchasing new, and which ones we just weren't going to use. I did find some of these if you have like Audible, there's free. We borrowed a lot of the books from the library. There's some that I either just couldn't get from the library, I didn't feel were kind of worth it for us. Like this one's a ranked 4 and I just kind of felt it just wasn't necessary for the course, and I think I wasn't available in my library anyways. Here, so it does have in red when the book is going to be used in the workbook, and so that's important that you have those books. This is a from the Guest Hollow website. So I'll just go a little quickly through this. Then you get to movies, and then supplies, and then you get to unscheduled literature and fiction. So these are things that you can add in as well. There are other ideas. So you can see I have lots of borrowed from the library. Some we just didn't use. So that's what that looks like. Supply list. It tells you what book the information is in and what you're going to need. And it's divided by weeks. So this is a 34-week course. I skipped a page here. So it's all divided up for 34 weeks. And then we get into the answer key. So this is what the answer key looks like, and I'll just flip through because it's all the same. So what it does is it repeats the question, and then it gives you the answer. And they have the weeks in blue. I found a few little mistakes. They do update it every year. So this is from a year ago when I printed it. I wish the answers were a little bit easier to discern and to read. Like if they had this, I wish they would just highlight which one it is instead of writing it again. I found that a little bit annoying, but really in the grand scheme of things, not too much. So that is that portion. Then I have what I call the workbook, or my student's book. And I have for him, first of all, the schedule. So they call it like an a la carte system. They have kind of the basics, but then they have all these things that you can choose from. So it takes a little while if you're new to Guest Hollow to kind of figure out how to use this. It seems a little overwhelming. But this is week 1, day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it goes all the way. Okay, that one's just 1 page. Some of them are more than 1 page. So what I did was I highlighted the books that my child was gonna do. And for these ones, I'd like choose 1. And from the videos, choose 3 of those. So he could choose 3 different ones. Here is week 3. So again, he needs to do that. Lots of those ones, choose 1. He needed to do the workbook. And then on this page, he needed to choose 3 of these. So that's how I personally set this up. As I went through, I highlighted what he needed to do each week. So let's skip ahead a few weeks here. Let's see, what week is this? This is week 22. So you can see again, the ones he needs to do, the ones he needs to choose a certain amount to do. And that's just how I did it. And that's how he went along, and he just checked things off as he did it. So then the second part here at the very end is the actual workbook. So it's a full color workbook. There's a note here to parents and to teachers saying you don't have to use the workbook. Now my son is in grade 12. I absolutely felt this was part of a high school science course. He needed to do this. It was nothing that was too out there. And this is what it looks like. So this is week 1. They have the questions and the answers, just like this. And that's what it looks like. Let me show you all the way through. Very similar all the way through. So let's go into some of the books. So I'll show you the books that I did buy for this course. Like I said, we used a lot of them from the library. This one I ended up having to buy from the UK, and it was ridiculously expensive. So I'm not sure I would do that again. I'm trying to remember, maybe, I have a feeling it was part of the course and that's why I needed to get it, because I could not find it secondhand anywhere, but it's that one. Fatal Forces, this was another one that was really hard to find. I think it's just not made that often anymore. That's what that book looks like. This one here is Junk Drawer Physics, 50 awesome experiments that don't cost a thing. And so this is one of the main books you're going to be doing experiments from. It is all black and white, I believe. Yep. That's what that one looks like. This one is Zoom, from atoms and galaxies to blizzards and bees, how everything moves. This is just a straightforward reading book. Just like that. These ones I thought were really interesting. Now, I'm probably going to say this wrong. Is it manga or manga? I think it's manga. My kids love manga, and so when I saw these, I thought, oh, this is perfect. Our library had some of them, but not all of them, so I bought the 2 that our library did not have. The kids informed me, of course, this is not manga if it goes this way instead of this way, but gives you an idea of what it looks like inside. So there's the cartoon manga. So that's the Guide to Electricity, and this is the Guide to Relativity. It's the same inside. This one, Mad About Physics, Brain Twisters, Paradoxes, and Curiosities. This book looks so interesting to me when I had picked it up. It's like just little short things that are just unique or unusual or cool. Very short things. So I thought this book was pretty neat. It's just black and white as well. And then finally this one. This is one that I know is included in the workbook. I wouldn't call it a spine because they don't use a spine, but this one is one of the major books. So The World of Physics, or Exploring the World of Physics by John Hudson Tinner. And this one has questions in it as well. So at the end of each chapter, there's these questions. I believe it's all black and white, yeah. So this is what this one looks like. My son did those review questions, and the answers are just in the very back here. Right there, very simple and straightforward. But this is one that you definitely should have to do the course. So those are the books that I purchased along with the PDFs that I printed for this. As we were planning my son's grade 12th year, he wasn't really sure what he wanted to do after high school. So as we were looking at all of his different courses, when we were looking at specifically the sciences, you know, he had done chemistry, he'd done biology, he'd done advanced biology. And so I said to him, why don't you do a physics course? And that way you kind of rounded out your science experiences and you have that basis for whatever you're going to do after high school. And he said, yeah, that sounded good, but he did not want to do any math. He had had enough of math through his high school career. So we had used Guest Hollow, their whirlwind history before, and I was sure I had seen something about a no math physics. And I went and looked, and sure enough, there was this course. So I had my son look at it, I looked through it, we both agreed that this would be a good one for him to do, and that's how we decided on it. So the way the schedule works is it's that 5-day-a-week schedule. My son did the work in 4 days. He just compressed it down, and that's what he chose to do. I have a pro and con list here from him, and one of the things he said was even doing that, he felt like it was very manageable, that it wasn't a super heavy load, and I absolutely agree. It is definitely time consuming, but not excessive in any way. It is recommended for grades 9 to 12, which I agree. It absolutely is a high school course, particularly with all the extra readings they do. But they say that you can change it to make it more of a middle school course. I can see how you could do that, but I think high school course, it works for that. He said he liked having the addition of the YouTube videos, so that's great. And I think that's one thing that Guest Hollow excels at, is having all these different avenues of resources. You're not just books, you're not just a textbook, you're not just videos, you know, there's movies, there's so many different ways that children learn. There's experiments and hands-on, and all of that is in Guest Hollow, which is wonderful. And he felt like the workbook was very straightforward. And I agree. It was very straightforward, maybe a little bit too easy for grade 12 in terms of filling in the blanks and stuff like that. Maybe. Now it's $35 US for the PDF. Again, that's the only way they sell it. They often have sales though, so you can get it even cheaper. And that is just a fantastic price for a high school science. You do have to add in the cost of any materials you need for experiments, as well as any books that you buy. And I've said this before, that because I'm Canadian, here in Canada, we just don't have the secondhand book market. I find particularly the secondhand homeschool book market that, like they do in the States, I know there's websites you can like buy secondhand books. It's just not like that here. And so I don't think, I'm just looking at them now, 2 of them were secondhand that I bought. The rest I bought new. And like I said, we use a ton of books from our library system and a couple audiobooks as well. So it did add an additional cost. Now this is our oldest son who just did this course. We have 4 other kids. I'm sure at some point one of them is going to do this course. So it was incredibly worthwhile for me to buy those few books. Depends on your own situation, right? How affordable it is for you. Oh, when they talk about, is it Christian or not Christian? So I was trying to find an answer about this, and Guest Hollow just said that they're a Christian couple who create the curriculum, but there isn't necessarily Christian. It's not a Christian curriculum. In this one, I think there were 3 books that were kind of Christian based, and they do let you know in the schedule that they are. So if you want to do this course secular, you could very easily do that. Or if you want to add those in and make it a little bit Christian, you have those options. Now, when I asked my son what he didn't like about it, he said some of the books were in bizarre formats. They weren't his favorite, and some of them he just didn't like. They were boring. Other ones he loved though, so there you go. When it comes to credits for this course, the company says that you need to check with your local, I guess, authority or however credits are going to be done. However, because it is such a heavy literature course, you could potentially have a science credit, a literature credit, and even like a half history or so credit. So They don't say that's how much it's worth, but that gives you an idea of what they are thinking when they create this course in terms of credits. Trying to think if there's anything else that I missed here. I don't think so, but leave me your questions below if you have them. I'm always happy to answer them for you. And otherwise, I hope this finds you having a great day. Take care.